Hi there, Taurus. How are you? It's me, Anissa, from the Inner Stereo, and I'm back again doing your September 2018 readings. So, as usual, guys, it's going to be a relationship spread, and you can always apply with anywho. It could be with your friends, family, colleagues, best friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, fiancés, exes, anywho. I'm just going to pick up your relationship energy in general, okay? Wow. So, how are you guys doing right now, Taurus? You seem kind of like quite fired up, and then now you have the wheel of the year at the center of your energy. It means that you're kind of like dealing with a karmic cycle in here. Yeah. And you kind of like want to put things together. It feels to me as if like you kind of like felt it's like the time for you to put your foot down and to make it happen, if that makes sense. There's like a lot of karmic things going on in here, but also at the same time you guys are in the moon card, meaning that for an earth sign to be in a moon card, it's not actually your natural habitat, because you guys are kind of like left to ponder what is going on. Am I being surrounded by lies? Is this person kind of like mean what they say, what they promise me to do? Am I being surrounded by agenda? Am I being surrounded by the manipulation? So although there's like things that is just happening in the right way, but you cannot help to feel like you are in the dark about something. Okay, it's also mean that you kind of like is a little bit questioning where you stand in someone else's life and what is their plan for the future. If you guys are in a long-term commitment with them, go have a challenge. What's challenging you, you have the Justice card in reverse. So you could be dealing with a Libra, but with the Justice card in reverse, it also talks about things that are not standing on an even keel. Okay? You felt like you give too much and you receive so little. Second challenge, you have the High Priestess. So you feel like this person, you could be dealing with someone who is non-committal towards you, or there's like a mutual agreement that is not being met, so there's no meeting eye to eye thing, and there's kind of like a promises that has been broken. So that's why now you're dealing with a lot of trust issues, because you felt like this person is not following through what they said in the past, if that makes sense. Be careful with the Justice card in reverse, though. If you're dealing with someone who is very, very petty or vengeful or spiteful, you could be at the end, the receiving end of their revenge, if that makes sense. Because, justice to you could mean different to me. I mean, justice is a very subjective thing. What is hurtful for you could be not so hurtful for me, but what is hurtful for me could not be so hurtful for you. Sometimes with the Justice card in reverse, it also talks about someone wanting to instill pain in your life 100 times fold. 100 times fold is exaggeration. Like 30 times fold or 2 times fold, way worse than what you did to them, if that makes sense. So be careful if you're dealing with that type of person, okay? Okay, wait, too much. Okay, so in the past, you could be dealing with two people, though. If you're dealing with two people, there's one person here who is kind of like, is so much in love with you, and then there's someone who is very, very hurt by you. But if you're dealing with one person, this person does have like a love and hate relationship towards you, meaning that this person loves you so, so dearly. They feel like this relationship has been blessed by the angels and stuff like that, but also at the same time, they kind of like feel hurt by it too. So it's a very, very bipolar energy in here. Okay, you have the Strength card in reverse, and you also have the Queen of Wands in reverse. I feel like you were in the past, you were so un-Taurus like, if that makes sense. You kind of like give it into that fiery temptation of you. Taurus, when you explode, it kind of is scary. I have a Taurus ex, by the way, and he can be very, very patient dealing with me. I mean, we were dating back in college, but he's like very, very patient until one day he blows up. And when he blows up, it was kind of like scary. And I feel like because you were trying to exercise a lot of your patience way before this happens, and you just kind of like snapped. You just kind of like snapped, and you kind of like let all hell loose so that they kind of like felt hurt by it. You guys also have the Two of Swords in reverse in here. It means that you guys are kind of like a little bit indecisive and wishy-washy because you did exercise a lot of your patience, and it's kind of like taking a toll a lot on your emotions. So you decided to kind of like close off your heart chakra and now think with your brain, with your cerebral, that what is actually best for you. Okay, so now you're dealing with someone who is kind of like a little bit too closed off with you. Okay, whatever. I mean, they're still kind of like hurt by it. They're still kind of like mourning over the hurt that you kind of like caused them, or probably they feel rejected in some ways. Now they're kind of like closing off your heart chakra. So if you're kind of like wondering why is it that they are acting in certain ways, it's because they're still licking their wounds, if that makes sense. They're still kind of like licking their wounds. You know, you could be dealing with someone who, you know, the type of person who you did one mistake and that person decided to bring that mistake from one, you know, when that 1992 in this current fight. Yeah, you could be dealing with that person who kind of like licked their wounds quite a while. It takes them quite some time, and they're like, they also have the Four of Swords, so they, you know, because, you know, people have a coping mechanism differently, and I feel like this person, their coping mechanism when being hurt, it takes them a longer time to heal. So that's why they feel like they're creating stabilities upon themselves when they're kind of like pulling away from you, being a little bit distant or cold from you. They could kind of like cut off communication entirely too, though. Okay, with the Emperor card, okay, now it makes sense. Because with the Emperor card, it kind of like showcase the nurturing part of you. I felt like you kind of like feel sorry almost. In some ways, you kind of like take a blame on yourself. And yeah, you have the Nine of Cups in reverse. You kind of like is emotionally attached to them. Okay, wait. And you also have the Seven of Swords in reverse. Yeah, you now kind of like feel pity for them. You feel bad, you felt guilty. And with the Nine of Cups, you felt like you're emotionally attached to them. You're kind of like is depending on them on an emotional support. You were so used to them being your emotional supports that when they're like this, it leaves you sister shook. You know, it just makes you like, what the hell is going on? And now you have the Six of Pentacles, so it's like you have the urge to give. I feel like you did try to kind of like let things go. I mean, you tried to kind of like leave in some ways. It seems like you had one foot at the exit door and one foot still on the inside. And every time you try to look, every time you try to exit, it's like you look back and you kind of like reminisce the past, and it just makes you stay the whole time. Because the Emperor card in this particular deck of mine is a very, very sentimental Emperor, because the Emperor likes to see the Six of Cups or the nostalgia or the memory of the past. Taurus have this thing about comfortability with the comfort zone. I felt like you guys have already made this person as your comfort zone. So to break free from that is a little bit unfamiliar for you. So now it's either you felt like you lost your comfort zone, or you felt guilty of what you did in the past to them. That now you're willing to have the Seven of Swords in reverse, meaning that you guys are willing to kind of like lower down your weapon and, you know, just kind of like give to them. Typical. It kind of is difficult with dealing with someone who is, you know, kind of like emotionally closed off. I mean, if they want a little bit of a time off, just let them be, because they do need like a lot of times to heal from those emotional wounds. From that kind of like, it's either rejection or emotional wounds or whatever that is. But I feel like with you guys giving, it's actually creating like a better, relationship for both of you. So you're actually doing something right here. You're actually doing it right if you were to be the one who kind of like extend more with that Six of Pentacles, who kind of like give a lot. Does this person would that make them feel victorious and on top of the world? Yes, it would. But it would also kind of like make them back in track, where they feel like they want to put in the work again with this Ten of Wands in here. Okay, the reason why they're emotionally closed off and everything is because they felt like their ego has been bruised. And by them licking their wounds, they're starting to think like, oh my God, if I do this, it's going to hurt my ego. So you do need to do things to kind of like boost their ego a little bit. I mean, if you feel like this relationship is worthy, okay? Like, I'm not trying to say that, you know, if it's really, really toxic for you and you're done with it, then just let it be. But if you feel like this is something that is worthy for you and you think like this person has all the criteria that you need and gives you all the comfort that you need, then just go for it. The only way for you to actually do this is to kind of like give in to them. I mean, you feel emotionally attached to them anyway, and you wanted to lower down your weapon anyway. So just kind of like give, because if you do that, it makes them kind of like erupt. They have the Six of Wands. It makes them happy. You know, it just makes them happy. From the 4, they erupt into 6. So it's not like a victorious, celebratorious feelings inside of them. And it's going to make them back in track where they feel like, okay, you know what, Taurus, okay, fine. I hear you. I know you're sorry. And okay, I hear you, what you're trying to say to me. They have the 10 of Wands, so it's kind of like them kind of like owning up to the shit that they've done to you too, if that makes sense. So if you want them, just give them, and then try to openly communicate how you truly feels. I think like you already get your message across, but just in case they didn't get it in the future, when you, after you give, and they're like, okay, you know what, let's do it again. Because they have that, you know, they have that 10 of Wands attitude. 10 of Wands always have a destination in here, and the 10 of Wands always have an understanding that the direction ahead is going to be a bumpy road. So it's not going to be a smooth sailing, where it's not a Disney movie where everything is going to be happily ever after without no efforts at all. Like, they understand the consequences, and in the future they're willing to fight for it. Okay, only if you kind of like give to them a lot. And you guys have the Fool card, so it's just going to make you feel like, you know, brand new again, on top of the world. Both of you are going to feel good about yourself. You have the King of Cups, so there's like a lot of emotional healings happening. So both of you will have this emotional securities, emotional availability again. Both of you, and you guys are willing to work it out anyway. But in the now, there's like a little bit of a different energy. You know, you guys with the Queen of Cups and them being the Queen of Swords. So there's like a little bit of energy. You guys are willing to listen. You guys are willing to understand. You know where they're coming from. You guys are more in touch with your emotions because you feel sorry for them. And they're more like this, the Queen of Swords. But if you feel like this person is worthy, if you kind of like extend this Six of Pentacles to them, it's going to work very beautifully in the end. So congratulations, Taurus. This has got to be the best reading I've done for September. Okay, so I really hope that you guys enjoyed my reading. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.